Let me paint a picture for you, okay? Imagine, if you will, a person works at a movie theater and they're stinking, just doing their thing. They're at a movie theater, just chilling, whatever. And then they walk outside and they see a guy sitting in his car. They go up, they sit. He walks up to the guy sitting in his car. The guy sitting in the car, he looks over and he sees the other guy from the movie theater walking over to the car. The guy sitting in the car grabs a gun and he's ready to shoot this guy in the movie theater if he walks up to him and if anything gets crazy. The guy in the movie theater walks up to him and he, is like, "Hey, what's going on? What are you doing out here?" And the guy in the car with the gun hidden but ready to shoot him if things pop off is like, "Oh, nothing. I've been driving. I just fell asleep over here." "Oh, okay. Well, whatever." And then the movie theater guy walks away. And then you're like, "Oh, wow. Well, that was interesting." But then the movie theater guy comes back out and then shoots the guy in the car with a bazooka. Boom! And then you're like, "Wait, what? What's going on? Why did the movie theater guy kill him? What's going on?" And then cut to a lone highway. And a car driving on the highway, obviously. And the car is a woman. And that woman is on the run. And that woman is a person who can tell when you're lying. And shenanigans ensue. Always. I gotta let it play that last bit one more time. Oh. I was gonna do it again. I'm gonna start over. Because I love it. That part stays in my head all day. Poker Face is about a woman who is on the run and she is going from town to town just trying to get away from some people that are chasing her. And you get a little bit of lore kind of about what she did with this ability she has. She has the ability to just tell when people are lying. And it's not like flashy, it's not, crazy. And sometimes she gets into trouble herself because even though she can tell when a person is lying, she doesn't always know why they're lying. She'll sometimes assume that they're lying for a specific reason that is not related to the fact that they probably murdered a person. And she'll spend the whole time trying to figure out what happened. And then once she figures out what happens, trying to get proof. And then once she gets the proof, she has to tell somebody else to alert the authorities because she's a wanted woman, which is cool. And I like it. I like the fact that this is a crime show about a person who is solving crimes, who is not a detective, who is not a cop, who is not in anything. She is a normal person who has an ability, and she's almost like she's not home. She's basically homeless, but she's more like a drifter. She doesn't stay in any town too long. She makes friends with a lot of people, and it sucks though because a lot of the time it's her friends who end up getting murdered. And what I love most about this show, though, is almost 15-20 minutes of every episode, you're following, you don't know which one of them is the victim, but there's always like 2 or 3 or 4 characters. They're interacting with each other, and you're like, one of these people is a murderer, and one of these people is being murdered. And you don't really know who it's going to be, and you're always guessing, well, obviously somebody's going to get murdered. How's it going to happen? And then, when it cuts to her, after the murder has happened, and then it cuts back, it'll be like, and then you get to see what she's been doing. And what's even cooler to me is, you find out that she was closer to the murder, way closer to the murder than you would have thought before. And then it goes back, and you sort of see her, what she was doing at the time of those murders happening. And sometimes you'll notice, oh, she was in the background during this part. You just didn't notice it. Or you didn't realize that somebody was talking to her when they were talking to like some person, like a stagehand off screen or something or whatever. So it's really cool. It's really cool that, and my brother is annoyed because every time I talk to him, he's like, "No, Mike, I don't care. She's not a detective." It's cool. It's like the Incredible Hulk, because that's what I love about the Incredible Hulk. I love the fact that it's kind of like a cop show, but he's not a cop. He's a man on the run, and he's always trying to hide, and he can't be comfortable ever. So it sucks because like he'll make friends along the way. Oh, but dang it, he hulks out, and great, I committed some crime. I gotta go leave, and I love that aspect of it. It's just so interesting. Whereas you watch 1,000, a dozen, a gazillion other shows that are like Monk. I love Monk, and that Monk was different at the time. The idea of, oh well, what if it was a detective who had like obsessive compulsive tendencies, or and it's funny. Poker Face. Another thing is I haven't been watching a lot of newer movies or anything, but I've been binging Burn Notice. And there are a couple nods to Burn Notice in Poker Face. And Burn Notice is a little bit more of a traditional cop-ish show, except it's for spies, and it's in Miami for some reason. But for one, the fact that I was, just casually binging Burn Notice, anytime I don't have something else to watch, I'll just put on Burn Notice to have it on. And it's fun to just pay attention for 2 minutes and then walk away. And then come back, and whatever. But the vibe, it's not exactly the same as Burn Notice at all. But I feel like they appreciated Burn Notice. For some reason, I think they're giving like Burn Notice a little extra, what's the word? Like a nod. It's like maybe they liked how Burn Notice handled episodic television. And I would honestly tell you, it's true. Burn Notice is great at doing episodic television. Not a single episode is boring. Not a single episode is confusing. Not a single episode is bad. It's not. Every episode is good. You can say it's predictable. You can see how some of the pieces are the same and they just sort of rearrange them. But it's not a bad episode of television. In a day and age where now everything is serialized and everything is like a story, sometimes it is nice just to have a little bite-sized, I'm just going to be here for an hour. I just want to watch 1 hour of something happening and then be done with it and leave. And that's what Poker Face is. But it doesn't sacrifice... And whereas some shows that do that, kind of you can feel get lazy sometimes, this one doesn't. Every episode is shot great. Every story has twists and turns you're never going to understand. You understand it, but you're never going to get or necessarily guess right away. What I love also is you know who the murderer is pretty much every time. Yeah, so you'll see the murder happen. And the real interesting idea is how is she going to find out, especially when she doesn't know who did it. And a lot of times she's mingling with people that she didn't know that they murdered her friend. And it's like, whoa. And that's where her ability comes in interesting ways. Like, say her friend got murdered, and these people she's talking to is like, hey, I just think it's weird how they got murdered, right? Like, didn't you think that it's weird? And they're just going like, yeah, it's so weird. And then she'll be like, wait a minute. They didn't think it was weird. They know something. And sometimes she doesn't always, she doesn't put two and two together right away, immediately. It's like, she's not smarter than the average person. I mean, she kind of is. She has great street smarts or whatever. But she's not like a detective. I know I keep saying that she's not a detective. But she doesn't have these skills. She doesn't have crime-fighting skills or crime-solving skills. She just asks questions, and she finds out if people are lying. And sometimes she has to find out if a person is lying just so she can know for sure if they did do it. Like, tell me, did you kill that person? And they'll be like, no, I didn't. And she got her answer. She just needed you to tell her you didn't, so she knew you did. And I love it. It's cool. And Natasha Lyonne, I didn't know Russian Doll had to do with like time loop stuff, and I thought it was just going to be an annoying thing. Now I'm interested in checking that out. I like Natasha Lyonne. I like her voice. Her voice is so like, I don't even know if raspy. I don't know. Is raspy the right word? It's like sandpaper. But she's such a great actress, though. There are so many times, especially with her raspy voice and her messy hair, where she's just like sitting there. Like one time she's saying some lines that are kind of funny, kind of in a joking way, but her face is like dead serious and there's tears in her eyes, but her delivery is still on point. And it's like, how'd you do that? How are you crying while also delivering a joke in a pretty funny way, but also showing that you're terrified or sad or whatever? That's really good. I like it. I think I want more. I shouldn't have. As soon as I watched the first episode of Poker Face, I was like, okay, so what's this? And then I just started watching everything. It's only about 10 episodes. I probably maybe did 2 episodes 2 days in a row at some point. But I basically stuck with it like one a day. I was like, all right, time for Poker Face. And now that's over. I'm done. I need something else. But yeah, that was Poker Face. It's so good. I'm going to play that theme one more time just so it's stuck in your head. And then you just feel like, man, I need to hear it again. And you just go watch Poker Face. So here you go. Here's that theme one more time. So good. Nathan Johnson and Judson Crane, music by.